All right. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Katie. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Super
Great.
excited to be here.
I'm so glad. Well, thank you so much for being here. Anyone who's watching this, I just wanted to take a minute to kind of explain why I'm doing this interview, who this is, and where it all came from. Um, I have a few questions that almost every single couple ask me, either
Mhm.
via email or on our first call. And these are couples that I end up working with, and even just every lead that comes into my company. So, one of the main questions is that's over and over and over again is, do you think we need to hire a wedding planner? I mean, our venue includes a wedding planner, and kind of the same thing of really not knowing quite how to budget for it, if
Yeah.
they have the budget for it, and just basically not truly understanding the value of having a wedding planner. And so I usually on our call try to go over it and this and that. But I wanted to put together a resource for couples that, come through my company, um, just to sort of go over with a pro wedding planner what the value is, why it's important, and, kind of roll into a few questions. So
Great.
again, I'm Katie. I'm the owner of Create Photography, and this is my friend and also someone I work with quite often, Carrie Stevenson. She's the owner of Boheme Events based in the North Bay area. And so I'm just going to sort of interview her because she's done so many weddings, all different budgets, all over the Bay Area, all over really. And just kind of dive in from that place to help educate you guys and, so you can make informed decisions for your wedding day. So, Carrie, you ready?
We are
Okay,
here to empower. Yes.
the question I wanted to kind of ask you today, because I think it's where couples are the most confused in the very beginning of their wedding planning process, is what is the minimum support you think couples need in their wedding planning process?
Yeah, good question. So the minimum support, I mean, I think it comes down to two things. How much you're able and willing to do, what your priorities are, thus your budget. So your priorities are basically what's going to consist inside your budget. Minimum support would be month of. Um, the reason being is that month of there's so much happening. I watch, I'm a full service planner, but I watch so many of my month of past and present clients get inundated in the last month with all their personal tasks. And the number one thing they say is, oh my goodness, thank you for being there. Because I'm there to basically, or any other month of planner is there to basically make your life easier. So vendors have a lot of requests in the final month. Your venue, your caterer, your photographer, your videographer, everybody needs something. And that's just how the wedding industry works. It's not going to work any other way. So my my answer to that question is minimum support a month of. Now, if you have a bit of a budget, that's if you're working on a budget and you're like, okay, I can't afford a full service planner, I can't afford a partial. My design and style isn't that elaborate. Um, Month of would be that. But if your budget starts to grow, I think the conversation will lend itself as we carry on here today to potentially looking at having more of a partial full service in your back pocket. And
Totally.
yeah, pretty much. Because if you don't, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Coming back to what I ask my clients from the get-go, about their priorities, but just really what is the frequency of the day and what are you and your partner's main intentions for your wedding day. You want to protect your overall investment. So that having that support is so important.
Yeah,
I
really
can't
well
tell you
said.
the amount of times that like vendors and venues and everybody is like, "Oh my God, Carrie, like so happy you're there." We hear it all the time because it's not that clients aren't able to follow through or correspond, but again, it just becomes a lot towards the end. So it's something important to look at from the get-go.
I have another question I just thought of. So, for example, I'm based in Sonoma County, and someone might come to me and say, like, well, we're getting married at, the Fairmont, and they include a day of planner.
Oh,
And
yes.
that's a really common kind of thing
Yeah.
that also comes up. So let's talk about that and then we'll dive into the rest of our
Yeah,
questions.
so two things. So one thing I wanted to say was about the venue coordinators, and then yeah, like a venue day of, or whoever, gives you the day of, depending on where your wedding is. First off, venue coordinators are there for the venue. They're not there for your planning process or any of your others. So they're not going to correspond with you, Katie, about getting information regarding your engagement shoot or your photo list or your timeline review. Vendors are going to need you to have some sort of coordinator on the side other than the venue coordinator. And then as for the day of, again, they're not there for you the whole entire time. So again, if you have a smaller a smaller budget, which again, all budgets are valid here. I am not eliminating anyone from this conversation. All budgets are valid, but we're talking about the standard weddings for this area, are starting around 60K right now. You can have a wedding for 40K, you can have a wedding for 20K, you can do whatever you want. But if you're looking to build a wedding day that starts at that 60K competitive, right? You're getting everybody that you want on your list, on your vendor list, then you need somebody there to harness and protect that investment, right? And we will protect that. We'll guide you. We'll save you money. We know the industry best, and putting leaning into your other vendors to do that work for you
Right.
is not what you want to do. Just be totally transparent. But you want to lead into somebody that their main priority in their profession is to guide and support couples in the coordination and planning process, versus a photographer that is shooting, way more events than a planner is, or a DJ, or whatever other vendor you think is going to help you in that. Or to be honest, even a family member or friend, they're not gonna do it. So
Got it. Okay. The key takeaways there that I really loved were guide and support.
yeah,
So, okay. So moving on, what is, in your opinion, but what is the value of a really good wedding planner?
they know the industry best. I mean, again, like if we're being honest with like what weddings are, once you start getting into the 60, 80, 100 plus K, which is kind of where weddings are landing these days, you need to have that support. I've said it, we protect your overall investment. And we know the industry inside and out. So when it comes to who to select for the budget, say I have a client that comes to me and they're hiring me on, but they already booked their photographer and florist. And I'm like, okay, and their venue, of course. I'm like, okay, so let me see your budget. And so I'll want to review your budget and say you still need a caterer, or you still need, again, that's out of sync. What I just said is out of sync. I would normally tell you to get all your key vendors first. Again, another bonus to having a planner. We're going to guide you to getting who you need to block in to your budget based on your priorities in sync, so that you build your budget and then you add on whatever you can. Yeah.
So I've never heard that term before as a photographer. What are the key vendors? I'm assuming they're the higher ticket
Venue.
vendors.
Well, it doesn't have to be. Again, based on priorities, you could want, maybe food isn't a big thing and you want three
Right.
food trucks, but you want an elaborate lounge and tent and everything else. I mean,
Right.
you could, but venue number one, catering, DJ and photographer.
Great. Okay.
And of course, planner. So it's venue planner, catering, DJ or band, and then your photographer. And
Okay.
I put florist, I put videos, rentals, all into my second foundation of planning.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I have more questions.
The vendor referrals. Sorry, Katie. The vendor referrals are probably vendor referrals, but also knowing the industry and what things cost. So
Right.
like if you're saying, oh, I still need a DJ, or I really want a band, but I don't want to pay 30K for a band, I can guide you to a band that's 5K, or we can make those things work and make you understand. We can also understand how you don't have to do 3 rental companies. You can just do 1 rental company, and how to basically take that number in your budget and have it go further versus wasting money. And again, people come to me at all different phases of planning. So when I open up all their contracts, I'm like, okay, we could have saved some money here. But once you sign on the dotted line, which is
Right.
again why you hire somebody from the get-go.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm learning so much. And I do have another question that my clients repeatedly ask. And again, not just my clients, just people coming into my business. So why are you primarily a full service planner? That's number one. And then number two, do you have anything to kind of add in there around, well, I'll just leave it at that. Why are you full service? And then I have one last question after you're done with that. We'll do one thing at a time.
Yeah, full service has just well, Boheme Events will officially be 10 years next year. So happy birthday to us. We're so excited. And I feel like it's just how I've applied myself. And again, like honoring, leaning in, trusting planners. The professionals know the most. And over all these years, I have not only built amazing relationships with all my vendors, I'm so grateful for, but I also have just learned the industry. And so it's just easier for me to basically take the clients on a journey and guide them the whole step of the way, And so, and again, they have to accept and acknowledge that that's the support they need from the get-go. And a lot of people do, and a lot of people don't for different various reasons. So that's kind of where I want to work with my clients from the, initial call, is just what's holding you back from hiring a coordinator, and to what level of service that you need. Yeah.
So it's like in your perfect world, you love full service planning because it really gives you this holistic viewpoint, planning the whole thing, but you still have other offerings for other couples, in the Bay Area who might have other needs. Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, yeah, partial design and style is, again, full service planning is everything. It's going to be a little different. So you're going to want to interview different coordinators and or planners to understand kind of what they offer and include in their packages.
Yeah.
My partial design and style it's hard to say partial because it really does feel sometimes like full service, but it just leaves you a little bit more like 2 hands on the driving wheel. You're in control of some things, but you have like our team like super behind you, like helping guide every step of the way. We're full service. We're doing it all for you and more or less presenting things to you. And our month of is really comprehensive. It starts 2 months before, not just 1 month before. So again, different planners, coordinators are going to offer different things. But again, where we're at in our industry or in our experience is just at a scale where I enjoy doing full service the most, but I also super respect like the connection with my clients. And I also want to accommodate budgets of different sizes, so nobody's left out.
Yeah, absolutely important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just while I have you here, I was just wondering if, like for anyone who's listening and made it to the end of this, what is your top like main advice for a couple that's engaged right now, just to kind of wrap this little interview up?
Yeah, main advice, start with your budget. I think that's probably my most important piece is sit down together, really take time to discover what you both want for your day, review, weddings that you've been to in the past, things that you've loved, who you are as a couple, like really get into it versus like trying to recreate a wedding that you saw on Pinterest or, you just imagine. I think the fantasy and the big dream big is really important when you're beginning, but at the same time, see where that links up with your partner, because your partner's going to have things that he or she loves, and then yourself is going to like love certain things, and there'll always be a difference. But then that's where you start to build the budget of like, okay, well, this is really high on your list, so let's give a little more money to this. So budget and priorities is everything. Lean in and trust your professionals. And if you question having like a coordinator, I mean, just getting to the reason why we're on this call today, I would really kind of dig in there and ask yourself why. Because again, if any budget, any dollars spent on a wedding day are a lot of dollars spent, right? So if you have a budget, that means this is my budget, and that dollar amount means a lot to me, you
Yeah.
know? And it doesn't mean how much it is. That's your budget. So whatever it is, I would just really think about how you are resisting having someone come in to help you sort of hold that space and make sure everything goes seamlessly.
Oh my God, great advice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna wrap up, but if anybody has any questions, again, this is Carrie from Boheme Events, and if you download my preferred vendor list, she's the first planner on there, so you can't miss her. And please shoot me an email with any other questions you guys have. And thank you so much, Carrie. This was
Thank you
so
so much,
helpful.
Katie. You're amazing. I love working with you. Can't wait for our next event.
Okay, mwah. Talk to you
Bye.
later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.